Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm here to talk about how to reduce your food waste. This is something that can be a real problem in the domestic sort of sphere because 50% of our household trash or garbage or waste that goes to landfill every year is actually food waste, and that is a massive shame. It also really shows that we're really taking for granted how much food that we do have accessible to us. So I wanted just to talk you guys through a few different things that I've discovered, companies, different tips and hacks to reduce your and my food waste. So hopefully you guys will find it useful. So the first one is actually a company that I discovered recently, and they're not really a company, they're kind of a social enterprise. And in the UK, a lot of our fruit and vegetables basically don't get to be sold in supermarkets because they're not aesthetically pleasing enough and they don't meet the standards of supermarkets, which basically means they're not perfectly straight and they're just a little bit wonky. And if they are a bit wonky, then supermarkets basically just don't accept them. And then that's a real problem for farmers because then it means that that food has to go to waste. And it's ridiculous because they're perfectly good vegetables and fruit, but they're just not aesthetically pleasing, which is outrageous. They also have surplus fruit and vegetables, and so I've discovered this company called Oddbox. And at the moment they're quite small, they're in a social enterprise, as I said, in southeast London and southwest London. And what they do is they sort of collect, or they get this food, the wonky vegetables or the surplus fruit and vegetables, from local farmers within the UK, and they've created boxes which they deliver to your door. And all of it is unpackaged, or if they do come in bags that look a bit plasticky, they're 100% degradable. But of course you can message them and just say, I don't want any fruit or vegetables that have to be in packaging, or if you do have any packaging, please could it be in a brown paper bag so I can at least recycle it. Or I'm sure you could just say, please, just don't use any packaging whatsoever, I don't care. And also they collect your box as well, so if you leave it out because they deliver overnight, then they'll collect your box and they'll reuse that, and also they'll deliver your box that evening as well. So it's really pretty great, and for, I think that it is affordable. You just have to go and look on their website if you're interested. I'll put the link down below, but it's basically a really great way if you're lazy like me, or if you're super busy, or if you have, jobs on weekends that you can't go to farmers markets. They're a really good solution, and I know obviously they're only in southwest London at the moment, but they are expanding, and hopefully they'll get to the rest of London and hopefully the rest of the UK. If you guys know anything like this in your own countries, please let us know down in the comments section below. But it's just a really great, convenient way to get unpackaged fruit and vegetables that otherwise would have gone to waste straight to your door, hassle-free, and it's pretty cheap. So I think that it's a really good way to avoid wasting food, because they sort of calculate obviously how much probably you'll be eating a week, and you can get it bi-weekly or weekly, and you can get a fruit box or a veg box. Anyway, I wanted to share these guys with you because it's really helped me, and it's made sure that I don't have to go shopping during the week or more than once or anything like that, and it's really awesome. Anyway, if you want, I think you get 50% off on your first purchase. If you say who referred you. You don't have to say me, you can say any of your other friends, and those friends will get 50% off as well. So it's a great way to just kind of get an introduction to it. I'll put all the details down below and you guys can figure out if you want to. The second one is another service actually that I've discovered. Again, I'm sorry guys, it's in London. I live in southeast London, but they only deliver to East London, and luckily I work there. And it's a company called the Milkman. It's just one or two guys, and they basically wanted to find a way that people could get plant-based milks but without all that packaging, because the packaging is just, I don't know, it's a bit of a nightmare. And you can't recycle it because it's all lined, and they have plastic lids and things like that. And so I was trying to find a really great way to avoid packaging and also get some plant-based milks that were homemade and didn't have any kind of crap in them, and that I knew they were also a zero waste company. So what they do is they make the wonderful plant-based milks, and they deliver them to your door like a traditional milkman. And then everything is in a glass container so that if you leave them out, when they give you your next order, they'll collect them so that you don't have to have any waste. And obviously when you're making plant-based milks, you're going to have lots of things left over, like almond pulp, or like coconut and stuff. But what they've been trying to do is they've been trying to change those or create like little dessert balls, or giving them to try and find people who will use that to create some kind of dessert or something like that, so that they really reduce their food waste completely. And that's a really great way, like knowing, because when we think about food waste, we do think about personal food waste and what can we do in our own home, because obviously, you know, what I said earlier about 50% of our trash being food. But it's also really important to support companies that also are trying to tackle food waste in a much larger sense, obviously like Oddbox. And I find, because I am paying for this delivery service for the Milkman, and he cycles everywhere, so it's not as though he's contributing dramatically to pollution or anything like that. It means that it's fresh and it's got an expiry of 4 days, so it means I'm really actually going to be conscious about using that and planning ahead of what I'm going to use it for. And I think that mentality of planning and organising, not just kind of buying food, is what is going to help you to really reduce your food waste. So I guess that brings me on to number 3, which is to obviously plan before you buy. I have lots of staples in my cupboard, which I know will not go off, so obviously that's fine. It's just the kind of planning what meals I'm going to make that week. So say I get a delivery from Oddbox and they don't have everything that I need. I need some cans of tomatoes, but I don't want to buy cans, so I'll go and buy tomatoes, and so I can make a curry or whatever. If you're planning what you're going to be making that week, then it's much easier to buy exactly what you need rather than too much. And that is a really great way to make sure that you're not overcooking things, making too much food and then not having the right sort of availability or space to store that stuff. I mean, I have a tiny kitchen, I have a tiny fridge and a tiny freezer, so I really cannot be making like massive sort of meal preps. So I kind of choose what recipes I want to make every day or every few days, and I stick to it. Obviously you're going to go out for dinner maybe, or you might go out for lunch, or you might buy your lunch one day, or I don't know, there might be lots of other variants of what might happen, but staying organised and planning your meals is going to be a massive help in reducing your food waste completely. So the next one, number 4, is to stop being so picky with how clean your food is. I think we have a massive problem, especially in the UK, of really desiring clean food. And it makes me laugh because our food has now become so clean that we have to take things like B12 supplements because we're not getting the right nutrients from our fruit and vegetables like that because of how clean and how high the standards of cleanliness are. But also, peeling vegetables is just a massive waste, especially considering those nutrients that are stored just under the skin are so fundamental to us that it's just such a waste just to throw those away, or even if you're putting them in your compost or whatever. So with food that you don't need to peel, please try not to peel them because it is a waste, and also they are so good for you. And yeah, so basically just try not, and also use the whole fruit or vegetable. A lot of us don't eat broccoli stems, which I find mad because they are so good for you. And you can just create something new with them, like a salad or I don't know, whatever, but you can still use the whole thing. And it's also with spring onions, like the whole green part, that's actually more flavoursome or flavourful than the white part. So try and use everything and don't be so picky. Okay, the next one is save your food scraps. Whatever you have to peel or whatever you choose not to eat, you can save those and put them in the freezer. And obviously you can compost them, but you can also make a vegetable stock from them. If you guys want to see a video on that, please let me know down below and I will show you the kind of vegetable stock that I make out of them, which is great because then it means you don't have to buy packaged vegetable stock or whatever, or well, you don't have to do it so often. Yeah, and it's just a nice way to create something new out of, you know, what you would have already discarded. So that's definitely a really simple one, but something that really works. Anyway, I'm rambling on for a very long time. You get the point. If you have any more tips that I haven't suggested, please leave a comment down below and I will obviously take them on board. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys in the next one, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.